A little update. I was able to pass the API 580 and the API 577, but I did not pass the API 571. Anyways, this is the API ICP website where you can pull up your certs, and you can see I'm rescheduled to take the API 571, April 5th, 2021. And this has been the only test I haven't passed in the past 2 years. I've gotten, you can see I got my API 510, my API 653, my API 1169, my API 570, my API 577, and my API 580, all within about the span of about 2 years. I started a couple years ago when I was trying to leave my old job, and before that I got my mechanical engineering PE, so I'm registered PE in South Carolina. As you can see, you could click on the certificate and it'll take you to the page. You download your certificate. Here's my API 580, which I got not too long ago. My effective date was October 31st, 2020, and it expires in 3 years. You see all the expirations in 3 years. But I wouldn't say these tests aren't necessarily easy, but they're not really that challenging. They just require a lot of time. You don't even have to sign up for a review course. I signed up for a few review courses. In fact, the Atlas API training course is what I signed up for. You can see right here they got different courses. I did that for the 570, the 510, and the 653. But after that, even though my company paid for it, I decided to try to pass it by itself. And one of the things I could tell you about passing these API tests is that a lot of the questions, even from Atlas, you can search on Quizlet, and you could just go into Google and search Quizlet API 653, and they'll give you a pretty complete set of questions. You can see here, they're kind of worded weird, but when a full hydro test is required, it shall be held for 24 hours, and they'll give you the reference, and you can go in the code book. But for someone new to this, trying to pass these tests, since I've had pretty good success, I'd say the first step would actually be to read and familiar yourself with the actual the programs. And a lot of the times, if you dig deep enough into the internet, you could find these programs to download. They'll be old, out of date copies, but I found that there hasn't been too many changes between the years and the revisions. There might be an extra section or an extra appendix or something, but it would be enough to pass if you were that strapped for cash, if your company didn't pay for it. But like I said, the review programs are pretty good, but you don't necessarily have to have them. I would say just read read the programs, read the actual PDF files and their reference information, and then you could go to Quizlet, and you could go to Google and type in API 653 questions Quizlet, and they will give you almost the exact questions off the test, and very similar to the exact questions off of the Atlas review programs, or your Code West review programs. The more practice questions you could get, the better. But another thing that I did that helped me was I went through the programs, and actually, as I was reading it, wrote a little summary for every paragraph, pulled out some of the facts, and kind of made my own little PowerPoint presentation. I could go through that if there's enough people wanting to see that. But yeah, I tried to take the API 580, the API 577, the API 571 all in the same week. And of course, the first two I passed, the 580 and the 577. The 571, which is about the corrosion methods and all the different corrosion sources. I think, what was it called exactly? 571. I can't even remember what it's called. Let me look it up. API 571. Damage mechanisms affecting fixed equipment in the refinery industry. A lot of the damage mechanisms are really, really similar. So this one is actually a little tricky because, there are literally 30, 40, or 50 of these damage mechanisms, and they go through and tell you which equipment they affect and where in the process and how to look for them and what to expect from them and, what NDT to do to detect them. And a lot of them overlap. A lot of them are very similar. Being in the fuel systems field myself, I deal mostly with jet fuel tanks and I'm piping. So some of these refinery stuff that I've never heard of that type of equipment, cokers or whatever, or not even that, just some of these refinery equipment can get pretty harsh and nasty and, have buildup of different, acids or caustics or whatever. But yeah, that goes over the whole shebang of corrosion mechanism. So that's something I got to start studying with the test coming up in a month. I'm pretty confident that I don't have, 2 other tests back to back that I'm studying before that. And honestly, I should have passed last time. I got a marginal score. So, I didn't realize I got the fail signal until about 8 weeks later, because what basically happens is that they'll give you a preliminary score the minute you leave the place. And every preliminary score I got was a pass except that 571. And like I said, I took a test the day before, 2 tests the day before, and when I got there, I was tired. I was jacked up on caffeine, and all the tests I finished early. So time is not a problem, especially with the 577, the 580, and 571, where there's no 2 parts to the test. There's no going through. They don't give you the source material to go through. Basically, you have to know it off the top of your head. So, I've got both of the tests. I mean, I got the 577 done so quick. It was literally less than half an hour I was out, and I had to score and preliminary results. But 571, I kind of rushed through. If I thought about it a little more, went back and corrected some of my answers, I think I would have passed it. But I'm just trying to rack up these certifications so I can be more employable. So, just let me know if you have any questions about the test. Leave a comment below, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. And I've got to start getting studying because I haven't looked at this since I attempted it, and that was back in October of last year. So I actually got to brush up on a lot of this stuff because I'm gonna start doing more tank inspections for my job, and it's been a while since I looked through this stuff. But yeah, just let me know. Maybe I'll post or go through some of the PowerPoints I've made for the 570 and the 577 and the 571. I'll go back through that first time I went through, but I'm pretty confident that if I actually gave it the time and attention it deserved, API 571, I'll pass it. Like I said, I've passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you add in the STI, that's 7, and my PE, that's 8 tests in the last 2.5 years. So it's just burnout. Just burnout. I might add the AWS certification in the future, or do some of the NACE corrosion stuff. But yeah, just leave a comment below, and I can answer, and maybe I could help you out, or get a channel in the future for people in this profession, because there's not a whole lot of resources out there, and they want your money. They are so greedy. All these test prep companies, all these API guides and stuff. It's like, if you spent your money on it, that'd be all your extra spare money. You wouldn't have any money left over from your job if your company doesn't pay for it. So I definitely feel you there. If you're laying down, $1,000 to take this test and another $1,000 for the remute material. So I feel you there. Anyways, yeah, just leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you and let you know anything I know about the test.